Good afternoon. This is Ron Brown. This is the 11th of December. There's about nearly an hour left in the trading day, and I wanted to go over a few things. This will serve as my Saturday video. I may or may not add to this video in the morning, not sure yet. But I want to show you a couple things, or a few things that I've been adding in the, or I did add, I should say, in the user groups, the User SmartGroups. I added, well, I shouldn't say I added, but I pulled the Perfect Speculator scans out of a folder which had too many scans in it, and I gave these scans their own folder, so it's much easier to find these stocks. These are all of the Perfect Speculator stocks, and these are the Perfect Speculator stocks $50 and below. Now I'm going to go up here and click on Perfect Speculator. You can look up here at the top and you can see that there are 710 of these. That indicates a strong market, although the market has been weak the past few days. These are stocks, if you'll recall, that have had a 52-week or a 3.25-year high within the past 15 calendar days, which generally equates to the past 2 weeks of trading days. So they are stocks, many of them. Well, if they've reached this level, they are stocks that have attained those levels, and there's a good chance they're going to go much higher. That's not a promise, of course, but it's a fact that they really have to pass through here before they go too much higher. Now, these scans right here, the pullback, these are pulling back. They're in a counter trend. They were Perfect Speculator stocks, and now they're counter trend stocks, and I'm limiting these to 50 rather than all of them, just because there's no need to look at all those stocks. Now, when you update your add-on, you're going to get these User SmartGroups the way I have them, and when you do, you'll of course want to rebuild these smart groups, especially if you're using the intraday scans. First of all, you have to have Thinkorswim running in the background, and you have to have your stocks or your prices updated, I should say, for intraday, or you're not going to get these intraday up, the intraday scans which are up for the day. So if you install the add-on and the market starts trading, or after the market starts trading, and your intraday prices are updated, then you can go in and you can rebuild your User SmartGroups, because it's going to pull stocks out that are up for the day, and it's going to ignore the rest of them, the way I have these set up. So intraday price up, Perfect Speculator stocks. I'll just go to the 50 and below. If this area is populated over here, you know you did it right, or correctly, I should say. So this is a list of Perfect Speculator stocks that are up today. The market's down. The composite's down about 0.5%. And it's been weak all day. Now, the chart that I have up over here, I'm using these charts more and more because it shows Wyckoff demand, and this is chart. If you go down here to my Wyckoff VFB charts under demand, click on number 6. That is a chart that you'll have here. Now, let's look at a few of these stocks. You can see that even though the market's weak, this is a stock that has been marine shipping that has been in demand for several days now. There's an effort to rise here, another effort to rise here, an effort to rise here. This is after a low volume test. So it's gone from around $12 up to $18, and this is just a little over a week. So what I'm doing here is getting a look at where the real strength is in the market, even though the market is weak. Now I'm going to bring up a weekly chart here, just so we have both, one of each. And that's a daily chart. Sorry about that. Okay, here's the weekly chart. So you can see how strong this trend has been recently on the weekly, and then this demand chart over here shows how the demand has been. So what's this date down here? You can see there's a lot of accumulation here based upon VPA flags. I'm just going to click on this. It says this was August 7th. So what does that equate to? If I click over here, that's August 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. So on this day, this is the second effort to rise, and the stock, if I put a crosshair on here, you can see that it came down and tested that support area, but there were multiple efforts to rise here, and then a little pullback, but we had a series of higher lows, and higher highs all the way up. And of course, chasing it here caused some pain on the way back down, but this low volume test was the beginning of this move up. But getting back to this, I wasn't planning on going through all the VPA and so on. What I want to point out is that this scorecard, using the scorecard stocks intraday, and this smart group has found stocks that are going up in what is a weak market today. Several big moves here. And you can see that these are all VPA, Wyckoff signals combined with VPA. And if you want to find out what the color coding means, just click on the Choose Create Charting View, and the color code is right here on chart 6. Dark green, higher volume, wider spread, demand. Those are most in demand. We're seeing that right here. Light green, wider spread on lower volume. That's lack of supply. This is an example right here. Yellow, narrow price spread, lower volume, lack of supply. And then finally, cyan is narrow price spread, higher volume, demand. And you can see that there were a few of those. So I'm really liking and using the Wyckoff charts in conjunction, or the Wyckoff signals in conjunction with the VPA flags, because I think it gives a great deal of insight into what's going on. Let's look at another one. This is CCJ. Look at this, and you can see that even though the market's been a little weak, by the way, the market is trying to rally now. It's only down, the composite's only down 42 points. I think it was down well over 100 earlier today. And but in spite of that, these are stocks that have been moving up all day. I'm sorted on raw combo, which is my effort versus result combo. And here's another one, of biotech. You can see that this has been in demand. It's well off its high right now. How about INFN? Low volume test yesterday, confirmation of that test today, breaking out to a new high. I haven't been pointing out the breakouts, so let me go back and do that. New weekly high here, new daily high. New weekly high here, new daily high. New weekly high there, new daily high. But this is where the strength is, and these perfect speculator scans do an excellent job of pulling these up intraday. Now I'm going to go back to the designer and point out that if you like to play the more expensive stocks, you can find them in here. You can find everything in here. These are $50 and below, $50 and below. Another thing that may interest you is I put the IPOs up intraday. So if I go to this, these are IPO stocks. This scan is linked directly. I'll just bring this over here. Linked directly to the IPO folder, and you can't really pay much attention to these scans or these signals early here because it really takes a while for these scans with IPOs to start producing. But if you have VPA flags, then the Wyckoff signals also work. But here's a stock that's up today. It's up 19.65%. Been in a downtrend. I'm not crazy about this one. How about API? You can see that this one is not generating any Wyckoff because it hasn't been trading long enough. Here's the weekly, here's the daily, but you can get a feel for these charts just by looking at the candles and looking at the price and volume along with the candles. Here's one that has moved up sharply. These are all IPOs, and you can see that it's out to a new high right now, weekly and daily. Here's one that has been generating Wyckoff signals. You can see the VPA flags are working too, and it's up for the day. So if you like to play IPOs, don't really like the looks of this one, but it's up for the day. That's why it's passing the screen. Now, one thing about this screen, these IPO stocks, as soon as they are in the database, they're going to start appearing through this scan. I do want to point out that if you go up here to my files, just type in IPO and go to IPO issue dates. This will show in your sort on raw combo, it's going to show the IPOs which came out most recently. And here's one that just came out yesterday, as you can see. If you want to use the IPO issue dates intraday, it's going to be sorted on the IPO date, of course, and then you can look in here and see which of these stocks are up for the day. These are not included in the here, just to make sure. I'm sorry. Let me do that again. I want to go to all securities. I made a mistake there. I should have gone to all securities first. Here's IPO issue dates, and you can see once again that here's the weekly chart, here's the daily chart. It just came out yesterday, and the IPO date is in this column. Here's Airbnb that came out yesterday. Anybody who chases these is crazy, in my opinion, but some people like to do that. Okay, so let's see. Here's what I'm looking for. DoorDash came out on the 9th also. So these IPOs, these all came out yesterday. The 10s, the 9s were a couple of days ago. Let's look at DoorDash. All over the place. I mean, I can't imagine who can stomach this. And this is a stock that I don't know if it has much promise or not, but they like to play them. Just wanted to point that out to you. There's just a lot of ways to look at what's going on in here with HGSI, and I know that I provide a lot of different ways to do things, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, I probably do too much, but find something you like and stick with it. If you like to find stocks that are moving, I believe from my observations is these perfect speculator stocks are very good, especially the intraday price up. And do this in the morning, early in the morning, when you can get in on the ride. Of course, there are some that are going to pull back immediately. That happens all the time. It happens to me. It happens to everybody. But once in a while, you can jump on one and get a really good ride. and it may be the beginning of a long trend. Okay, now I want to get back to my webinar files. By the way, I'm going to rearrange these again when I get a chance, and I'll let all the members of the Insider Club know what to do about, or when to delete, and then just go with my new arrangement. So I'm going to go down here to the stocks intraday, and let's look at a couple more things here. I'll close these perfect speculators. Let's go to the intraday. Let's go to the most active up, and I'm going to do some prospecting here. So I'm going to rebuild these smart groups. Doesn't take any time at all. And by doing that, I'm getting the latest prices on stocks that, well, these are the most active. It doesn't mean the prices are necessarily up. I'm sorry, I made a misstatement there. These are the most active up. I'm trying to do too many things. So you can see that these are up, and I have 50 securities in here. So these are the most active stocks that are up for the day. Once again, I'm using my Wyckoff demand charts. These are a lot of these are inexpensive stocks, but others are not. Let's go back to this. Want to bring the designer up again. And I'm just going to move up here. It's the third one, intraday gap down, moving up intraday. These are stocks that opened lower than their closing price from the prior day. And once again, you can see some red in here. That's fine because they have gap down. As you can see, it wasn't much of a gap, but it was lower than the prior day, and then they gained strength. So here's a low volume test, confirmation of that test. A pretty expensive stock. Let's just go down the list a little bit. Here's a $10 stock that here was yesterday's close. Here's the gap opening, and then you can see that buyers came into this stock. Look at this. On the weekly chart, it's out to a new high. Another gap down, moved up, another stock out to a new high. PGNY, the gap is below yesterday's close, and now it's moving up out to a new high on the weekly chart. Another good example here, 8x8, slightly gap down. It's just a little gap, then it traded down, and then it started coming up. Anyway, this scan is going to find these stocks that gap down just slightly or more than slightly from the prior day's close, and then buyers come in to support these stocks. Oftentimes, you can find some good stocks here. The initial reaction was a sell-off, and then buyers came in to support these stocks. This one gap clear down to here, and you can see where it's trading now. It's probably not a good example. INFN, good example here. Demand, these were all Wyckoff demands, and then shake out, a gap down yesterday, a gap down today from the close compared to yesterday's close, and then buyers came in and supported. Low volume test, confirmation of that test, and now an effort to rise. Look over here on the weekly chart. There are just all kinds of opportunities every day, and like I said earlier, I think if you find some of these that you like, find one, stick with it, and try trading it for a while. And even on a weekday like today, there are opportunities. The Wyckoff bullish scans, these are all good too, but a lot of times these stocks may have already gone too far. But you can see the demand here. The dark green lines are extreme demand, inexpensive stock. Let's look at this one. The demand started here, went up, and then it just kind of went back and forth, and then demand came into it again. Look at it go now. Look over here in the weekly chart. Okay, same thing here, same thing here. All right, well that's what I wanted to say about that. Now another thing I need to or want to discuss is that I'm going to pull up some charts here, and if you go into my webinar charts right here and go to the analysis charts, there are now 3 charts here, and these contain the ERG 240, 255, and 270 indexes. These are indexes that are created from stocks that have ERG of these 3 different levels, 240, 255, and 270. If you don't know what ERG is, it's earnings growth, relative strength, and group strength. And these are the leading stocks, as you can see, when the market comes down, and this one has the SPX, which is represented by the red. You can see that these stocks come down too, but when the strength starts building, these are the stocks that are out of the gate and are the strength of the market. Now what I've done is you should really delete your charts and before you install the add-on. Here's the same thing. This time we lost the VIX through the data supplier, but I put the UVXY in here, which is an ETF, and it works well as a substitute for the VIX. You can see as it's coming down, the ERG stocks are going up. And then the third one, by the way, if you want this information in here, you need to type in UVXY, and then this information will reflect what's going on. You can see that it's up 3.19% from its range, or it's up 3.19%. Its daily range is 20.43, so it's well off of its high. Now this one has the candle, the next one has the line, your choice, same thing. This is yesterday's information, this is the current information here, but just remember, if you're looking at this, make sure that you type in UVXY to get the correct information in here. This is going to represent whatever symbol is typed in up here at the top. Now these are charts that I've had some problems with. I linked these to the indexes. When I export them, for some reason, they don't hold, and but yet they'll work on mine as it is. But what you have to do is you have to go in and edit the current view. Right mouse click, edit the current view, and click on ERG 240, click on security, and go down to the User SmartGroups and just click on the index. In this instance, 240. I'll do that slower next time. 240. Now I want to do the 255s. Click on that. I select 255. And then the third one, double click, and I select 270. Now mine will stay linked, but when for some reason when I export them, they come unlinked. And you're going to have to do that for all 3 charts if you're using all 3 charts, and if you want to use this. Some people probably don't care a bit about this, but I put this in for some Robert Minkowski, an old friend, been an HGSI user for years, and he really likes to track this, and it's really a good timing mechanism. So anyway, that's how I do it. Just bring these charts up once again. I'll review this quickly. They are in under my analysis charts, under the webinar charts. If they are not linked for you, you're going to have to edit the current group. You're going to have to go in and click on these and link them up. And where you go is you go down to my User SmartGroups and select the appropriate index. That's all there is to it. And hopefully they'll stay attached for you. If not, you're going to have to do this. And if you have to do it too often, you may just want to concentrate on one chart and forget the other two. Thanks for listening. The market has really come back a long way, and it doesn't look to me like it's going to break yet. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and pause this video. I'm going to go into my major market indexes. I'm going to select broad market indices. I'm going to rebuild indexes in group, and what it's going to do, it's taking the current stock prices and rebuilding these indexes. I'll pause it for a minute or two while it does this. Okay, everything's been updated, so I'm going to click through to the warehouse, and then I need to go up to folder number 3 under my warehouse files. Like I said, I'm going to do some rearranging here in the next, well, when I get a chance, let me put it that way. Sorted on raw combo. So these numbers represent what is happening today as of 2:39 in the afternoon Central Time. You can see the NASDAQ 100, which was really weak earlier. There's more advancers than decliners. Utilities are leading. Where's the weakness? Small cap today. But, I don't see any major breakdowns here yet. Let's just bring up the NASDAQ, and then, of course, I will switch charts. I better use my quick pick so you can see what I'm doing. Going to the HGSI index charts. Percent above the 20, 30, 50, and 200-day moving averages. You can see that there is some breakdown in the NASDAQ 100 as far as the percentage above the 20-day moving average, but still above the 30, 50, and 200. So nothing major here yet. Let's drop down to the next chart, and you can see that there was weakness the other day. 2 days ago, we had a 3-to-1 down day and a 5-to-1 down day on the volume, but really no follow-through. Potential sell. It's holding up on the moving averages. What I'm going to do here is going to bear with me here. I'm going to go to these HGSI charts. And we can have both of these up here at once and look at some of these other indexes. Top 100 stock holdings in the indexes. These are the big institutional stocks that are constantly played. If I change to the index group, you're going to see some very familiar names here like Alphabet and so on. This is, in addition to the NASDAQ, I like to look at this. You can see there over the past 3 days, there's been some profit taking, some weakness. This is coming down. The percent above the 30 is nearly touching, or it is touching, its moving average. But not a major breakdown like we saw back here on this correction. Still above the center line of the Bollinger Bands. No sell signals over here. Let's go to the S&P 500. Now the S&P 500 is showing some weakness, a percentage above the 20, 30, and 50, but no major sell signals over here. Let's do the 1500. Pretty similar, no major sell signals. So as extended as this market is, I just don't see it breaking down yet. That could all change very quickly, but with no place else to put money, money continues to flow into the market and produce ridiculous valuations on these stocks. So the play is still on the long side, and just position size, protect yourself, and thanks for listening. I'm not going to add to this video in the morning because I don't think much is going to change in the next 18 minutes with the market. Thanks for listening, and have a good weekend. Take care of yourself. The COVID deaths are horrible, over 3,000 per day. It didn't have to be this way, but that's the way it is, and it's very sad. So protect yourself at all.